Blitzpools presents the Cricket News Podcast Season 4, Episode 9. I am Rahul Pandey. And, before we talk about what we did talk about in this week's episode, let me tell you about Blitzpools, our fantasy gaming partners who have been doing all they can in their power to make sure that you make the most of your cricket expert knowledge and fantasy gaming knowledge to win big in this mega T20 season. All you need to do is download their app by heading on to their website, www.blitzpools.com. That's www.blitzpools.com. Right then, this week on the pod, episode 9, but not just another episode. We've been talking cricket since the India-England series was going on, and a lot has happened since then. We've talked about players, about teams, but this week we thought, let's talk about the fans and something which happened off the field, something which was really tough for us to digest as fans, and a conversation which was really important, as all of us at Cricket News thought. And to accompany me in this conversation was Abhishek Mukherjee, the senior editor at cricketnews.com. And I certainly hope that this conversation which helped me, this talk which helped me, does help you as well. We had this on Tuesday morning, just 2 days after the India-Pakistan match at the T20 World Cup. And I certainly hope that after listening to this, we as fans can make a few more informed choices about our actions. So without further ado, here is episode 9 of season 4 of the Cricket News Podcast. So here we are, recording this 2 days after Pakistan's first win against India in World Cups. And it is a different feeling. I've been following the reactions on the other side of the border, and it's very different for them as well. But if you just put it simply, or at least try to, the better team won on the night, which is pretty much what sport means. Teams, individuals competing against each other, and regardless of the past statistics and the history and all the other stuff, the best of them win more often than not. And that was completely the case this Sunday in Dubai. But what has followed after in the no holds barred platforms of social media, well, that I believe needs to be talked about. We can talk cricket, teams, players every week. We can criticize them for their performances. Hell, we can even criticize match officials for their performances, which we do. But what about us? What about the fans? What about the others who are not the fans, but tend to get into the crowd and write what they want from behind the luxury of having a name which may not be theirs, a photo which is probably not theirs, and just do what they want to? And that, I believe, is what we should talk about this week on the Cricket News Podcast. Joining me is Abhishek Mukherjee. Hello, sir. Hope all is good at your end.
At my end, everything is fine. Just a bit. The fan reactions to this particularly has been a bit annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. And now let's start about, talking about this from the beginning. Why do you think, first things first, why do you think it was so difficult for India to accept this one?
Probably because of history. I mean, a lot of hype has been created over the India's unbeaten run against Pakistan in World Cups, which
Yeah.
is a bit weird because India have lost to Pakistan in Champions Trophy, which is an 8-nation tournament. It used to be a bigger tournament earlier. So, so it is not that India have lost. Essentially, India have not lost to Pakistan in ICC tournaments with world in its names.
Yeah.
Also has to be senior men's because India have lost both women's T20 World Cup and under 19 World Cup. India have also lost to Pakistan in World Cup matches for blind, for deaf, and for over 50s. I mean, there used to be a World Cup for cricketers who are over 50. So over 50 World Cup also Pakistan had beaten India. So specifically 2 tournaments, we have somehow managed to combine the two and create a hype around that.
Yeah. But it's interesting that and I knew this even before the game had ended. So we somehow knew when that partnership built up between Mohammad Rizwan and Babar Azam that, okay, this is going to be something special for Pakistan. But that video of MS Dhoni from the 2016 World Cup in that press conference, I knew that would circulate if India lose, because it's important to know when an Indian captain at that time said that, if you are so proud of the record, we must also be wary of the fact that one day we are going to lose eventually. And
All
it's been,
streaks end.
yeah, it's been tough for people to
All
grasp onto
streaks
the
end. We
reality.
have been calling South Africans chokers, and then
Yeah,
the world had been, and then South Africa won a knockout match in 2015. They're still there, they tag, but the streak ended. New
yeah,
Zealand, they had made it to the semi-finals of the World Cup in 75, 79, let me think, 92, 99, 2007, 2011, six
yeah,
semi-finals. They lost all of them. And
yeah,
then there was suddenly a hype that New Zealand can't win semi-finals. So that streak ended in 2015,
15,
and then
yeah,
it ended in, and then New Zealand won again in 2019, and that streak is done and dusted. So streaks end. All streaks end in
yeah,
cricket.
yeah. And India have
Even
been
Heath
on
Street's
the
career ended.
yeah, and India have been on the other side of ending streaks lately. The women's team
Yeah.
in Australia, and that was also quite the streak to end. But yeah, I
Yes.
guess it's because of
The
how
Gabba
this.
streak ended.
Yeah,
The Gabba
yeah,
streak ended. India never won a series in Australia, and then they won two back to back.
yeah,
So these happen.
yeah,
Streaks, all streaks end at some point, because I mean, for how long do you continue a streak? 20 years, 30 years, 40
yeah,
years? At some point, it will end. I mean, England had not won an Ashes series, Ashes Test match in Lords since 1934, and that continued for, I think, when in the 21st century they ended that streak.
yeah, yeah,
But it ended. West
yeah,
Indies were unbeaten at Kensington Oval for 50, 60 years. Even
yeah,
that streak ended. It had to end. How long can you go on without,
yeah.
I mean, without,
Yeah, any good thing, just like any good thing which has to come to an end. And uh, but what's been difficult to take for us as fans, and I guess most of us, and I'd like to think so, is the way the players have been criticized after that defeat. It's one thing to criticize a player based on their performances, and I believe top athletes thrive on it. That's why they are top athletes. If they wouldn't listen to anyone talking about their game, they wouldn't reach to the level they are today. But then to criticize a player who has worn your colors for over a decade now, for their commitment to the team on the basis of their religion, I mean, this is just a new low. And the same player you were cheering for when he was stonking the ball just a couple of months back at Lords, again wearing your colors, the same bowler you were cheering
a
for was the
towel on
best
it?
bowler. Yeah, and that the towel game, that was probably the best performance for India in the WTC final. That was the
Yeah.
best individual performance by any player in the WTC final. And the unfortunate part of it has been that we somehow knew that this would happen if India lose. And that's the thing that worries me now, because we know something of this sort is going to happen, and yet we can only feel helpless reading such comments. What was your reaction when you first heard or saw the comments that had been sent on the timeline of Mohammad Shabi?
See, play criticisms of players. I have seen, I have heard, I have read about.
Yeah,
They've been there for an eternity. But this is not something we are used to. I mean, players are criticized, and that's an understatement. We have seen where India starting to lose. See, I've been to Eden Gardens many times. I was there during the 1996 semi-final. I mean, um, it is difficult for some fans to accept defeat,
yeah,
but to blame a team for poor performance is one thing.
yeah,
To cite to call a cricketer a traitor based on religion
yeah,
because of the team India lost to, because Pakistan is an Islamic country, you are calling a Muslim cricketer a traitor. This is something that was not there before.
Yeah.
The Indian cricket team has always been a secular side.
Yeah.
India has always been a Hindu majority country, but India were playing have been playing Test cricket since 1932,
Yeah.
and the first all Hindu side was fielded as late as in 1979, and that happened only because Bedi and Kirmani, both who were regular until that point, both missed a Test match. When both were dropped because of performance.
Yeah.
Otherwise, both were regulars. So
Yeah.
essentially, India never had an all Hindu side. There was never. I mean, it was always a in the cricket is one field where India has always been secular.
Yeah.
I mean, they have been. Remember, India's first major cricketing tournament was an inter-religious tournament, and there was never any major incident of a riot. Even when the country was burning, India were fighting the British.
Yeah.
Uh, there were riots, there were Hindu Muslim riots, but none of that touched the Bombay Pentagonal. Ever. There was, of course, the crowd supported their respective sides based on religion,
Yeah.
but there was never. I mean, it was restricted to cricket. It never crossed that border. The cricketers were not insulted based on religion. Understand this. I mean, in 1937-38, the Pentangular semi-final,
Yeah.
the Hindus were playing the Europeans,
Yeah.
and they were not given enough seats. The Hindu Gymkhana members were not given enough seats at Brabon Stadium.
Mhm.
As a protest, they gave the Europeans a walkover. And in the final, the Hindu fans turned up to cheer for the Muslims against the Europeans. So they were always united.
Yeah.
This was not the scenario in the cricket fraternity.
Yeah. Yeah. And
This was
it's
never the
yeah. Yeah. And it's tough to take because we, regardless of how people take cricket, as some of them don't at many occasions look at the other side of it, how it impacts people's lives, but it does. And it's one of the few things that's kind of been holding a lot of people together in these tough times. And you talk about this team, it has been kind of holding so many people together in these tough times. You remember and this year only, you remember the wins at Kaaba, you remember the performance in England. And it's just tough to see how some of the people have taken to a platform where players have the same access as them, and deemed themselves worthy of speaking whatever they want. uh, but then again, we talk about reactions now, and as you said, Irfan Pathan yesterday tweeted that he's played for India, he's represented India, and even during his time, he hasn't seen stuff like this being spoken about him or any other player part of the
But
team.
I grew up. I won't say grew up, but I watched in the entire career of Azharuddin as captain. There has been criticism over his batting, over his captaincy. Even there were at a time when his integrity was questioned, but never over his religion. His religion was never a factor.
Yeah.
This was never raised. Even when the country was divided on whether Azhar should remain as captain, even when the fixing allegations rose, his religion was never into the forefront.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before that, Azharuddin was India's captain for almost a decade. Pataudi was also India's captain for almost a decade. Again, there was never, in fact, if anything, the one thing that has been said, I was of course not born, but the one thing contemporaries say about Pataudi is he was the captain under whom Indians forgot their regional loyalties, and for the first time became united as a team. Pataudi's religion was never a question.
Yeah.
Azharuddin's religion was never a question. When India lost the initial matches of the 2003 World Cup, there were attacks on the houses of cricketers. KF's house, I clearly remember. There were some protesters, but again, this religion topic never came up.
And
It was never about the religion.
yeah. Yeah. And most of these comments, I've found it really hard to read them. And it's one of the things that you notice about all of them is that they haven't watched cricket for long, and it's like they're just here for this particular fixture, which, as we know, doesn't take place too often these days. And it seems like they did not know of what the players had been doing in the last 1 year or so, how their cricket had been. And that's also something that gets a few individual the opportunity to become chameleons in the crowd of more. uh, but yeah, moving ahead, I think when you talk about how to respond and to deal with these kind of situations, there are two ways, and one of them being giving them the silent treatment, which has which is something most teams or most individuals use. But at times, I believe the other treatment, to let them know, for the players and for the teams to let the people they represent know what they represent in terms of the values, is also important. And this, I think, is one of those situations. I remember the England team, how they responded to the racist abuses against three of their players after the recently concluded penalty shootout in the Euro 2020 final. I mean, just the next day, I remember Gareth Southgate, the manager, going into the press conference and saying it out loud that we don't need these fans, they aren't our fans, and if you believe so, then it's just a big mistake. You'll have to move forward with time, because that's not what we stand for as a team. England's captain Harry Kane also did the same in the press conference. Do you think it's probably time for Indian cricket team, or the management, to come ahead and just say this for once and for all, that if you support
Well,
us, you know it's I mean, some of the former players have done that, but coming from, say, the captain, the manager, it makes much
the
more
captain,
sense.
the
Yeah.
manager, the coach, but most importantly, BCCI. BCCI has
Yeah.
to speak up. I mean, the authority has to speak up. We saw that when Dan Christian's family was abused
Yeah.
after the IPL, after RCB's elimination, the RCB management spoke up, and the KKR management instantly responded. I believe a few other franchises also responded. See, we
Yeah.
have reached an era when the West Indian and English cricketers are taking the knee together. It
Yeah.
is not the, I mean, a lot of teams have been, but West Indies and England, given their past, given their combined past, given their history, given the history of slavery, West Indies and England taking the knee together is a huge statement. And we are in that era.
Yeah.
It is the era of inclusivity. It is the era of where we cannot cannot tolerate cannot tolerate hatred. I mean, and us
Yeah.
speaking up, or a few fans speaking up, or individuals speaking up won't address this. This has to happen at the organizational viewpoint. BCCI needs to send a message that
Yeah.
these fans are not needed.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
something that has to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's much more than a statement. Taking a knee is much more than a gesture. And athletes have been doing this for the past 1 year, and more than 1 year. And it started out in just America, the United States of America, moved on to Europe. Now we are seeing it in global events such as Olympics. We saw it at Euro 2020. We've seen it at the World T20. It's more than just that 5 second of gesture. It's a symbol that is important right now, because you see so many different players playing under the same banner, playing in the same colors, and that means something. There aren't many platforms of sport where everyone sort of comes together, and especially team events where you're playing with such an inclusive and varied individuals for the same team, representing the same colors. It's probably more important than just what meets the eye. And I guess going forward, we as fans, if we are able to understand it would be really important. But on another level, I would want to ask you this. India Pakistan fixtures have always been emotional for the fans, but it has changed a lot since the last 10, we'll say 10, half a decade or so, when the internet has increased its audience in India. Your views on that, because you must have been following all of that from before I did, and how all of that has turned out for you as a viewer.
I'll tell you something. When I grew up in the 1980s, I have seen cricket in the 1990s, 2000s. The difference that has happened was the India-Pakistan discussion around the cricket matches used to be around cricket. These
Yeah.
days, it's not that anymore. There's not
Yeah.
necessarily that anymore. Of course, there's a lot of cricket in these discussions.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I saw a beautiful video from ICC how Rizwan had actually visualized his innings
Yeah.
before every shot he played.
Yeah.
Today, I saw an analysis that demonstrated how Rizwan and Babar specifically targeted the leg side during the innings.
Yeah.
This innings had the Pakistan innings had the highest percentage of leg side shots in this tournament so far. So these analyses are coming through, but exactly where India went wrong. I mean, there are, of course, there are some excellent fans. There are some outstanding critics who are analyzing the game, who are watching the game, who can take and fans who can take defeat in their stride.
Yeah.
See, I have grown up. I mean, all of us have seen fans who criticize their favorite cricketers and
Yeah.
teams when they lose. The usual thing is, uh, you're not good enough to play. All these cricketers can do is earn money. IPL has ruined Indian cricket. The
Yeah.
usual package. But this is different from all that abuse.
Yeah.
This abuse is not the same.
Yeah. And
The former comes from frustration
Yeah.
that my team has lost, my players have done well. So, okay, let's say something. But this comes from hatred, targeted hatred. This is totally different. It's not the same.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Kohli getting abused for picking some player fans think he shouldn't have, or Rohit not scoring runs is not the same. No, Rohit getting criticized for not scoring runs is not the same as Shami being criticized for his religion. It's not the same, and it is important. It is important to not see the two in similar lights. One is because of what you do on field. The other is where you were born, because of where you were born.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are not the same.
Yeah. I guess that's why it makes all the most sense for PCCI, as you said, or the Indian captain of the team management, to come ahead and address this specifically for Mohammad Shami, because that kind of an incident coming at this stage of the tournament, I'm sure that the players are not as much used to reading social media comments, but this sort of a thing cannot be just put under the carpet and just
Yeah,
be
I expect a statement, though I really feel that they have I'm not sure how many of them actually handle their own accounts.
Yeah, that's another
Probably
thing.
most of them have their social media managers running
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
But at this point, they're probably more focused on the New Zealand match and deciding on the team and assessing Hardik's fitness and who the 11 will be and watching videos of the New Zealand team. They are focused on that. But yes, I mean, this needs to be addressed before it gets out of hand.
Yeah. I also read another interesting comment from one of the more prominent users in cricket Twitter, that it's not just for Mohammad Shami, it's for everyone out there to understand that this cannot be taken lightly. This cannot be ignored. This cannot be unseen. It's not just about him. It's about probably everyone who's wishing right now to play for India. We talked about England
Yes.
and the reaction that was there after the final, the penalty shootout, the misses that happened, and there was a very there was a very emotional call made to one of the media networks out there from a mother who was watching her young son watch the final, and the reactions that happened after that. And he was so fond of football, he was so fond of these players, but once after watching that, he wasn't so sure whether he wanted to go ahead and chase this dream of becoming one of them. It's very important for us right now to think from that point of view as well. And I think this conversation helped me a lot, and I'm sure that it would have helped a few of our listeners as well. We would be really happy if it did so. And just one of the things we would want to end this with is let's just be kind. Let's be a sport, because ultimately that's what we are watching. Thank you so much, Abhishek Das, for joining us in this one. And that's it from us this week in the Cricket News Podcast. We'll be back next week.